Welcome back on the Conversation Arena here at the Festival of Dreams. Lou Van Stone has been doing a wonderful job with people walking through the front door and greeted by your beautiful music. How did you get into your world of music?
Oh, that's a good story. I had a corporate background. I used to live in London. I used to work in advertising, and I used to really enjoy going out on a Friday night and then singing to the Carpenters and ABBA. And I've always been musical, but it just went from there. And then I went and had singing lessons, and it was a long, long journey. And shortly afterwards, I went to India and discovered Indian music and spiritual music. And then I gave up the whole advertising career and went to uni and did a music degree. And so it's been a long haul. I studied jazz, classical singing, and then all of a sudden it's all come together in one genre of music, which is the conscious music, the sacred music.
So Lou, the early life working in the world of advertising, what drew you to that? What was it about advertising?
Well, there's a book called The Artist's Way. I can't remember the author, and they talk about the shadow career. And I wanted to be an actress before, and then so I ended up shooting TV commercials and doing radio commercials. So I was behind the camera, going, I want to be in front and I want to be the performer. So it was that glamour of the kind of entertainment industry, I guess, that drew me, and also the creativity of coming up with ideas. I liked that.
So coming up with the idea to leave and follow a different journey to what you've got now, does your advertising background still come into it?
Very much so, yeah. It's really handy. I've learned a lot of skills in that industry, and I'm using them all for marketing my own music, and I'm going to start making videos and writing the copy for my promotional material, and also for songwriting. It's the same part of the brain, that it's just a creative part of the brain. So now,
some of the people that I've spoken to today, they go through this transformation. You go from being a corporate woman working in a corporate world, and then all of a sudden people start wearing feathers and getting a little dippy out there. Is that part of the look, or is that just part of the industry that we're in?
I think if you've come from that corporate background, like I used to wear black and shoulder pads in the 90s in London, and then suddenly, and also us women tend to go very masculine in the corporate world, and then suddenly we find let's call it, for want of a better word, the spiritual search, perhaps. I think we tend to soften and go for a bit more that, I want to be a goddess now, and so I think some of it is just, some of it's fashion, definitely, but also it's just, it feels nice to kind of go a bit more feminine and floaty. Put on a few beads and that kind of thing.
Because there is sometimes that disconnect, though, isn't there? Because in the world that you've come from, the advertising world, that corporate world, there's a certain mainstream look that has to be adopted to get the advertisers and the people out there to come into it. With the industry that you're working in now, how do you tap into that mainstream audience, or does the audience find you?
Well, what's happening with my music now is I'm actually doing dance music as well. I've been signed to a German dance label.
How cool is that?
And I'm working with Simon Holway, who's a dance producer, and we're collaborating together. And we've got a single coming out. So we're kind of going that more mainstream. So now my market is also, like a 17-year-old clubber from Dusseldorf might be going to my website. So I've actually had to do my website to service both. Even though it's all me, and I find it's just me with a dance beat, and then me with not a dance beat for the more. But it's definitely, I have to be conscious of image for what I'm portraying, because that's how people, it's like a shorthand for people. So if they see your picture or they see your artwork of your CD, they know exactly what they're buying.
When you're looking at what you're doing now, it is very Carpenter-like outside, listening to you, and you can pick up that realm. But going into the world of education and having to learn music, you must have been confronted by some harsh realities, and also some most amazing moments during that educational experience.
Oh, it was incredible. I did a music degree, and I started that at the age of 34, and I was at the front of the class, hand up, keen jeans, and we got to do, one of the greatest things we did was do the history of popular music, and since 1940, I think it was, and just really going through how modern music came about and really hearing artists that perhaps I hadn't heard before. And then part of the history was electronica in the UK in the 90s, and there are all these young students there, and I'm going, I was actually part of that, part of that history. So
and really, like, you know, in the world of radio, Radio Caroline played a major role in getting those young artists who weren't getting played by the BBC, giving them a voice out there in the real world.
That's right, yes, exactly, because there was a real formula for music at that time, and then that people's creativity was being kind of stifled, so platforms like that were great for getting people's originality out there. Yeah.
So your music that you're currently doing is very inspiring, and you must get some great feedback from people that buy your CDs and your music. What's the most amazing thing that someone has said about what they've done with your music?
I've had some pretty good ones. One was a man who was having open heart surgery, and he said he was coming around from his anaesthetic. He had this enormous, big, serious operation, and he said he had my album All Is Well on a loop.
Yep.
And he felt very scared, I think probably from the anaesthetic as well, and very anxious, and he said the music just calmed him right down, and that just helped him through those couple of days when he was feeling very, very vulnerable. And so that was a pretty good
So the healing powers of music, you believe in all that?
Absolutely, because sound is vibration, and also our which is matter, so it actually permeates the body. Even though you think, oh, it's some sort of mystical thing out there, it's actually a physical, scientific thing. And also our nervous system communicates through sound, so and when we're hearing sound and healthy sound vibrations, it can really help to ground you and to calm the body down. Or the same way, you know, with dance music, it can
raise you up,
raise people up. And in conscious electronica, people are using certain sound frequencies in a positive way to actually shift people's consciousness.
Fantastic. So if people would like to get in contact with you and buy your CDs, where do they go to?
They go to www. Although we don't say that anymore, do we? www.luvanstone.com.
Fantastic, Lou. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Ben. It was a pleasure.
Very interesting talking music here at the Festival of Dreams, all part of the Conversation Arena.